Welcome to the Scrabble stream. Let's play some Scrabble. We'll be going first today in the first round. I'm probably just going to go croc. Or even crick. I like O with the Y much better. And welcome in, Descriptivist already. Yeah, it's our regular time week to week. It has become our regular time, I guess. Hickory, crickery, croc. The mice ran up somewhere or other. Now, Y goes under K for KY. It's not really anything useful here. Coronal with an S, I will check it. I think it's probably good, but let's be sure. Probably what we're going to do here. Oh, yeah, I think this was actually removed from this lexicon. Maybe. I don't really keep track of the various lexical changes very well here, so we might have to go with something else. Certainly we want to shed some of the Y's, but I'm trying to figure out a good way to do it. I mean, one way we could do it is just to do 17 here and lock this down, but if I can do something a little better than that, like if we have a good place for YGO, or it's not too bad. And then our next Y can parallel after that. That's a bit of an X-bomb spot, of course. But maybe we can do something with it. Oh, the X-bomb. Yeah, we got hit by the X-bomb. Okay, that's fine. I totally gave that one away. Oh, well. Yeah, and as Dr. Cliche was saying from Spencer naturally, and crown your heads with heavenly coronal. Exactly. And Descriptivist, you said that you've gotten to experience some of the Rhythm Heaven multiplayer. That's good to hear. I've not tried it out yet myself, as you know. But I did get the impression that it was a lot of reworking of some of the existing games. Now, we're pretty close to something here, but I need to make a few adjustments just to open up some space because the top corner right now is not promising. Obviously, we have... hang on, let me get my drawing tool here. The S hook potentially over here. Eventually, that's still an S spot, so we might want to stay away from that. I actually kind of like something like... I mean, we're kind of left with one lane here. If I could just do something with the Y and a D, that'd be much better. Or, yeah, unfortunately, this is not promising when it comes to hooks, and it also kind of reopens. But ERST, not bad to leave for 21 points. Yeah, you could have like an A consonant or U consonant there ending that might get us in trouble for the same reason as the X-bomb down below, if not as heavily, but here we go. This is a big rack, Oriens, Snorites, Estrin, etc. A whole bunch of stuff in here. Might even just go Stonier or something down on the right side. Now, do we have an alternative? We should actually take a look at the C here as well. I see things like erections, noticers. Noticers would go as a double-double. So we'd be doing something through here, probably. Let me put up the notepad here as well, since we have this going. Yeah, pedigree is going to go down. I think we'll just play noticers in the same spot, unless I have something to go through to D so we don't get hit by this constant spot up here. I'm quite a ways behind right now, though, so let's see what makes the most sense. In terms of the D, I think it's just droniest in that, so I think we'll just go noticers 90. And yeah, the constant spot next to the E in pedigree, the first E, could potentially get us in trouble here, but if not, we'll see if we can do something. Now, I only have O to go behind P, so right now that's not really promising. Unless we have like Atom, basically. Atom is the only thing we'd be looking at there for 38. That's likely first choice. Notice that here, H for here, that no longer really does anything because this area has essentially been locked down. Unless, of course, you play something like an H here with a T to go before it afterwards, but right now we're not going to fish one like that, obviously. But this has been closed off quite a bit. But if we play Atom here, eventually we might be able to extend. Not the most open board at the moment. I really don't expect this will stay open. It's just too obvious a spot. But this is basically a lane. Right side still wide open. Peronius. Yeah, Peronii is good, so I'm not really covered. I think Peronii is probably just the plural Peronius. I don't know that I'd question this. I see that we have some other possibilities now. I think I might want to leave this one open for an H, and let's just open the board a bit with a decent leave so we have a bit more space. At least we can follow up with the H down below if it's still available. Unless I have something that can actually go here now, which I don't see. That is such a huge spot for something like a Z, though. So my opponent just played 7 and could very well hit that. But of course, that's true of the top spot as well for even more. So let's keep it open. And if we can do something down below to string those two together, we will. And Dimitri Visitor, you're saying that Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1 is on a really good sale on eShop. Yeah, that's one of those where I think I'll just wait for the full trilogy to release and there will be sales again. I'm trying to stay off picking up any more JRPGs for the time being because I do have a few things to clear off the pile, but thanks for letting me know. Okay, so over here, I mean, right now the bottom corner has essentially been closed off, so if we can do something to get it back open a little bit, it would have to be something like T on the left side. The other thing we can do is if we can just probably play off the U somewhere. And I'm thinking like if we have a play that's up here somehow but dangling a hook, so we kind of reopen the top left. Except we would still need something like an S hook there eventually. So the thing I would be looking at would be something like bum, which looks like a bit of a bum play at first, but we need some of that space. I'm so far behind at this point, so. But otherwise, the top left is still more or less locked down. Still not a great situation to be in at the moment. Oh, do we have bot last turn? B-A-H-T. No, we didn't have the... Oh, I totally did. I could have gone B-A-H-T. That would have scored nicely, except you have to B down here, and so that would really lock up to the bottom left, which... Right now, this, as a 9s lane, probably has more potential than anything else going on down there. If we want to keep our eye open for that. 2 blanks, 2 S's still unseen, so some of the right side hooks on Crick still exist. Here we probably just rebalance a little bit and reopen the top right. Not a great situation to be in. H and Tattle. So did I miss Deister earlier when I... Yeah, okay, yeah, because the S hook was open when I had Deister. D-Y-E-S-T-E-R. Did not see that. So Yeah, because that would have just fit here quite nicely. What's is going to go down? Yeah, so obviously my opponent is locking down the board at this point with 150 ahead, so not much I can do about that. I mean, we have to do something about all of these T's. Maybe even just ladder. Or even halter? No, that would still leave 2 T's. Or hatter. I like TH better as synergy than TL, though, and we do need some point potential, so. The thing about ladder is that there are still Fs that could go on top to score on top of that, but I think I might not even mind that so much. Because we really need the space. Ladder or hatter? Ladder. I mean, at this point, I'm so far behind, I basically need 2 bingos to go. This, I see a lot of potential for 8s that do not currently go down on the board. Also, we should not forget about this possibility here with the I start. That's a little bit difficult to work with, though. Yeah, so of course my opponent's still trying to lock down. We're so close to something here. Had we kept tiles slightly differently, we would have had like Talag, T-A-L-A-Q, but that's no longer here. So I'm still looking at potentially an E ending here, although that scores pretty low and gives back a lot on the left side. So I see a bunch of things that are possible for 8s, like Ethereal, Heritage, etc., but there is, as far as I can tell, no 7 that I can spot. And the board is very, very locked down right now. So 31 over here, or maybe even... I mean, the right side's just going to get killed immediately if we do that. But maybe we should threaten it so we have 2 lanes, 1 left, 1 right. If I can shed like maybe an additional value out of this, there are 2 blanks still in the bag to draw into, and that's the thing is that I think it's actually somewhat likely that my opponent will just bingo again and get over 500, and then we're very much dead. But the thing is, I have no choice. I kind of have to leave it wide open at the moment. Shouldn't forget that we could potentially string something to the S if we have the right overlap. Too many vowels keeping here, or this actually would have some potential. I think we need the points. I think we go either EH, which would leave the right side open for S hooks, which are only going to be taken by the blank at this point, or we do this and we threaten something, but it would essentially force my opponent to go right. Probably they don't go further than this triple word score here because that would just open. But I think we need to make a threat. Well, we have the F for the flatter spot, but it's not really going to be helpful with what we have here. Fault here is ruin L, but that's not going to go. And yeah, oh, that's an all consonant rack for sure. Also kind of telling me that my opponent might be just kind of rebalancing for the fact that we have this blank situation that is actually very high potential, maybe. One thing that also goes is F goes under BUM. Now, I don't know if that's a good idea at this point. We might even go something like FUR. Or FEU. I want to shed the E necessarily. The U is a problem. The kind of vowel heaviness is a bit of a problem. So I'm looking at something like FEU, which would take a D at the end, but that's only really a blank D at this point. Or FUR, which is a little bit vowel heavy for a bag that's about even. I don't think I can do anything interesting with a flatter spot at the moment. Unless we maybe go AUF, but then that doesn't take an S. I don't think anyway. So that's probably not a great idea. I mean, if we go like this, the problem is that it kind of kills the S spot, but then the spot to the left is still open, and that's still a better leave than we'd otherwise get. It scores so little, though. I mean, at this point, we're basically trying to recover spread. We don't really have a winning path with 10 tiles in the bag. We just don't have enough tempo on the remaining available bingos. I almost think I should play more heavily to get to the blanks, but... Ooh. Yeah, I think my opponent is actually probably going to bingo first at this point. Like, with 2 blanks on C, they're going to hit something. Too many lanes available. All over the place. I think we've been playing too short, too few tiles. And we needed to stretch out a bit, but I've been way behind the whole game, so... Not many possibilities at the moment, unfortunately. We may even need to just go AIA somewhere and... Yeah, I wonder if there was a better way I could have taken advantage of the F spot up here without closing down lanes, but I couldn't see it. And we've been keeping a leaf that's been too vowel heavy for the last few moves as well. I just couldn't find a good way out of this one. Dr. Cliche, you're suggesting a Scrabble themed Too Many Cooks remake called Too Many Blanks. I mean, 2 blanks or too many blanks. I think it just kind of ends there. You can't really stack too much on top of that. I vaguely remember that Too Many Cooks video from years and years ago where it just begins that sitcom parody, right? And it just goes on and on and on for, I don't know, 10 minutes or something. Normally something like this would actually look pretty good here. Obviously, yeah, best NG. We'll check it. I'm pretty sure my opponent must be confident about this. There's something very similar to this that is definitely good. This might be a variant spelling of a word I do know, but I have to check it. I mean, they've got double blank, so what are we doing? The J also totally closes off this side because nothing's going to end in J there. So I'm essentially dead because there's 1 tile in the bag. The only thing that even has any potential here is we just play off a single A and... look at this. Like, so, for example, if I play off an A here and then draw an H, my opponent could just have like zeroing here for probably like 150 points or something. And so we could just give away zeroing and let them try to get 700 in this game. But because the thing is, like, fishing off A is not the most invincible move right now if we're going for spread, given that I have absolutely nothing else going on that has any potential whatsoever. Like, I'm trying to see... So, for example, if we draw into an H, we might have something like Hytera. But, of course, again, if I draw into an H, that means my opponent has zeroing and will zero in on a play somewhere. So we would want to... Like, if we play off a single A somewhere, then... you know what? Let's kill the Z bomb spot. Let's assume opponent has Z. The thing to do if we fish one is obviously here. There's a Z spot here, but it doesn't overlap like that for 60 points the way that this would. So my opponent's going to clear 600 in this game because like we've got nothing going on. And so absolutely the Z bomb on the right side would have been the play from my opponent's perspective. This is just a massive, massive loss. But we lost control of the game pretty early. Yeah, Basenji, a small African hunting dog, is pretty high probability. I was sure I'd seen something like that. It's relatively high probability as far as J words go anyway. I thought there might be a variant spelling of it that's also good, but the lookup for the lexicon doesn't appear to be saying anything to that effect. So let's see, what do we even do with this garbage? Yeah, the thing is, even if I do this, I don't even have a follow-up play for out in 2. Anyway, I'm running out of time. Let's just TORII somewhere. Do we have? Yeah, sure. Let's just go for that. So we'll lose by about 300 points, which is not a good start, but and yeah, Hong and Groom will check it. Groom, I'm pretty sure is good, but we'll check it. Yeah. So they had a lot of stuff at the right time. I mean, if we're to look at the middle game or something, when I was about 100 to 150 behind, there were things that were probably still meaningful decisions in terms of what I could have done to recover the situation somewhat, especially with the unseen double blank and just a sheer amount of late game volatility with Z blank blank coming out very, very late. But obviously, bottom left got locked down very quickly. We had nothing to do with that. We had too many duplicates. There was, past a certain point, just no winning path with the draws, but there were probably still things we could have done better. We'll see if I'm pulled into the second round yet. If not, we'll first of all update the record. Yeah, we'll be pulled to the second game right away, actually. So in the interest of expediting things, let's just update the record and go. We'll try to look at this one later to see the plays. But I'm just waiting for the game, and here we are. So let's try not to lose by 300 this time. That was not great. I will be going second, and that we have 2 U's to deal with right away. And likely we'll need to dispense with them one at a time, depending on what is available on the board. Expo. I'm looking at something just very val heavy. But the thing about CRU is that it does take an E in front. I might want to consider just playing off the E right away for the sake of balance. Although it does leave that triple up top as reachable. So let's think about this for a moment. You know what? Yeah, this is a very val heavy leave. It might be a bad idea, but the other thing we can do is maybe, well, we don't want to do curb, but maybe cube. Yeah, actually, I like this better because X-bomb is already off the table for 27. I like that a lot better. EX will take the O on the right. This is almost certainly going to be an exchange rack, unless, of course, we just have an E dangling in the middle of nowhere for OURIE. And even so, that's a terrible leave. We'll almost certainly exchange. For what we do for an exchange, likely, I mean, I think a lot of people would actually just throw in 7 out of this. We'll see what's available on the board, because my temptation would be to keep OR or something, but that might be overvaluing the O. And essentially would just be doing that to maintain some balance. If we keep the R, that will go on the left side over here. I think we throw in the Old MacDonald variant here, the UIUIO. And we'll see what we can do with this. Normally, the kind of rule of thumb with the O in terms of equity is that it's kind of a neutral tile. Like, it's not really by itself a good thing to keep. You know, you spend it if you can spend it. But it really depends on the shape of the board and what's available. Let's not neglect that C could eventually take CH on the right for a decent score. Dr. Shade, you were saying in the last game, the ERE space R in the middle of the board, had you hoping for some Nigel-esque long ones? Yeah, I was looking at the ER spots, but not something for 10s or 11s, obviously. Anyway, we are in a deficit right now, but we'll at least have a bit of an opportunity to rebalance, I hope. Probably want to unduplicate the A at the very least. I'm looking at this and thinking, okay, there might be some possibility for 8s, but not on this board currently. Like, we don't see anything for the P, for instance, or the C, which are really the only places with some potential. I think if we go like this, that's not too bad. That takes an additional N on the back if you have it. I kind of like that, actually, even though we're kind of stacking this top left structure that's totally killing the top left quadrant of the board. There is still some potential with what we're holding to continue this way. Although we don't have much that goes before the O currently. We do have what I was talking about earlier with the H ending here. So, for example, if we keep FRTH, that goes with most other vowel draws. That goes with O and I think I as well. Well, just O and I guess. But if we have something like a TH ending that we can go for there, that would be something we can strategize towards. So we'll see if anything there is possible. If not, then we might just have to play through and... Okay, here, okay, this is great. This is great because we will just go hark here. And that's 65. I don't think we're saying no to that. Golden opportunity there. Okay, we got our first blank draw of the day. We need to look for 8s, particularly here. 7s potentially here as well. I see shifter if it is with an S, possibly reshift. I don't see anything with an S ending. And if we don't see something that's with a blank draw, then we might just go Frith over here. I think Frith is good. Oh, also, we should see about that R as well. So we'll see what's possible. The F is kind of in the way at the moment. It's not the best thing to be holding here. If we have a short play that's available that just gets rid of F and something else that... Oh, look at this. This is even better. If we go Frith over here, unless we have something... Well, I mean, that's 51 points keeping the blank. I think we take it. And we even have the S after that. I think this is good anyway. But let's We have shiftier through here. I almost think that playing the other one is better. That's 67. That's not even that much of an increase. That's a plus 16 points with the blank as opposed to keeping E blank. I think we actually deliberately pass on a bingo, and I think in this, or even Firth, because of the I spot. Keeping an E blank into that kind of hook, I think we do it, and then just pass in a bingo for about a less than 20 point sacrifice. Now, unfortunately, that does get us into a bit of a problem with the U's. I almost never deliberately pass on a bingo, but I think in that kind of situation, I think the equity works out. But we have opened up a volatile spot on the right, obviously, that I was hoping to draw to. We have outduel, but it doesn't fit anywhere right now. And indeed, that's going to hit for about 51 in response. Let's see if we have something else that could go over this. I mean, obviously, the U's are just a main problem right now. If outduel doesn't go, and I don't think it does, then we just have to play something off short, likely. I don't even have a good spot for Ulu or something. So yeah, I guess that risk didn't really pay off for me, but we could just go Utu or Tutu. Tutu might not even be that bad, actually, because then we reopen an E-hook spot on the left side. It's too bad we basically broke our entire bingo rack here, but we still have some good potential. If I don't see a better way to get rid of that Poodoo, is probably better, because then we have a second S hook spot, even if we are kind of enclosing this lane a little bit. I like Poodoo better there. Banta Poodoo. And here we have probably Jet something, or something Jet. That was literally an uncultured play. Where was uncultured available? Uncultured? Or where was cultured available? Cultured. I don't see this. Oh, from the sea. Okay, okay. Serves me right for looking at two U's and immediately wanting to shed them. So yeah, we did miss cultured on that one. Too bad. This play is almost certainly just going to be Joe on the right side over here for 31. I can't imagine that we're going to do much better than that. Unless we, no, if we had something that would actually fit a J in a second spot, we'd do it, but not over the U, we don't. So yeah, big miss there with cultured. So we'll see what happens. It's almost certainly going to be Joe. If it's not, then we'll see the shape of the board and reevaluate. Yeah, LO doesn't take anything before it, but ENE obviously invites some things like ING endings. I don't think our evaluation of this turn really changes unless I'm missing a bingo, of course. Like, do we have something that's a C start that is a kind of jet? Probably not. No, let's just take the points. Okay, this should do well here. I'm trying to see if there's anything with the S. I see many other sevens like Vainlet and so on. Uh, levities, if it's through an I. There might be something from the C. I don't know if there's anything through U. There could be something through D, actually. I've got to write this down for the S to see if I can find anything in there. I don't at the moment. Unless it's... I don't think Velites. No, I'm thinking of something else. The D looks like the spot that's likeliest to work with this at the moment, but we will see what happens. Yes, we should be able to do something through the S. Levities, as we were talking about, will work. But if I can move that one spot down to have something with like IES, that would be better. We can also do veinlets to put a V on top is less triple prone, maybe, even if it gets back more points. Let's see if I have an IEST ending or EST ending that will go with this. So the plays I'm looking at again are either levities or veinlets, which actually I don't like the E spot on that. But the thing about the L is that it does take some heavy consonants before it to hit the triple. So if we can do an IEST ending somehow, that would be better. Leviest, Veliest. Yeah, that would be better. Veliest for 74. We get the other blank. Great. A little bit consonant heavy right now for the blank to do much for us, but we should be looking at anything to the E. That is currently the biggest spot that would be available. You're surprised that ELO isn't good. Yeah, because I guess when people still talk about ELO, they still always capitalize it since it is named after ELO. I see too many people think that ELO is actually an acronym and they just write it in all caps, but no, it's just ELO because it's named for ELO. But yeah, despite how commonly people just use it as a noun now, it looks like it is still only considered always capitalized in the lexicon. But of course, you can say that for a lot of words that have made it into Scrabble. So let's see if I can do something with the E up top. I feel like we do have something. Trilobed. I think that does take the E on the N. Trilobed. I'm reasonably ahead. I can try it. Trilobe without the D for sure, but trilobed makes so much sense to me. Okay, opportunity here to do something with the Q, I hope. Let's see if there are any spots that have anything going on with it. If not, then we'll probably just QI or QIN somewhere. QI here will work. We don't really care about the counterplay up top because it'll only be sixes at most. If I can do QIN somewhere to unduplicate the N, that's better, but if it's not available, then it's not. So QI is likely first choice. Unless we see something much better. Notice that elm will take a Y on the end. So if we are keeping the Y, then that's something we need to look out for, even if it is with a kind of closing up play like that. NY does take the O in front, though, so we need to be careful with stuff like that. And O over here also takes the O in front. I think this is a pretty simple play here, unless I'm really missing something. And in that way, we lock up the top left, which is what we want to do. And then now this is really not looking like a bingo board at all, unless somebody, links something to the K, the way that we could have actually finished with the word link and set up the Q for something last time. Likely what's going to happen is, so I don't want to do something like this yet because the O is still a threat on the left side, but if we can do something to take advantage of that spot, that would be great. There's no G available anymore for the GENE over here. Likely what we'll do is if it's available, just take the top triple spot to continue to close, or we can go just YA over here for 28, and we'll just score. We'll just take the points available, since the bag was much friendlier to us this round. So we'll see what happens. Much to your surprise, Veliest is a real word writers used to use. It feels completely natural to me that if you're preparing meat that tastes like veal, convincingly enough, right? It's reasonably veal-y. I mean, I consider it something that sounds pretty common to me anyway, so. Ordains over here, very nice. Yeah, the S was a problem here. I should have seen that, actually. I'm pretty sure about that anyway. We should at this point, well, I'm still quite a ways ahead, so we'll likely just hit this spot over here while it is available. Probably just with an AY. I mean, we can kind of close off here or something. 35. 3 in the bag, though. I think we don't empty the bag. We do this instead and try to restrict the left side a little bit. I don't know if I have something better that will go here, but with the RD together like that, I don't think we do. So let's just do that. We could do AND here. That's a bit of a point sacrifice, but no, that empties the bag. Never mind. Let's just play 2. Lentondo through an E, not that it's ever happening on a board with this shape. If we have something up top, we'll take it. Oh, I should have remembered that I was holding on to the Y for the bottom spot, but no, like the other play we would have made there would just be AN or something. Not really worth it. So at this point, we'll just try to score. Like, we'll just go land or something up top. If it isn't taken first, I feel like it is going to be taken first with something like the C on top. I think CIT is good. I can't remember. But we'll see. Obviously, it's a pretty ugly situation for my opponent with CUV and a doubled I all in the late game. Could have dangled an N in the middle of nowhere for inactive, perhaps, but not at this stage we don't. So you're saying you can't imagine someone describing meat as veal-y, much less doing so comparatively. So what are the distinguishing features of veal? It's tender and tastes vaguely like tasteless beef, so a real person would just say something was tender. Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, I think people are much more specific when it comes to food comparisons all the time. Like it tells me more to say that something is feely than to say that it's more tender than usual because it's specifying what kind of tenderness you're talking about, right? Maybe. So do we have a 5 going to the top left? If not, well, let's see if we can do something there. So VIAE is going to be the outplay for my opponent if it is available. There are some spots for it right now. I feel like VAILE might be good unless I'm thinking of VOILE. But anyway, let's assume that my opponent has outs and we just need to play decently. They're not going to hit this, so I don't need to worry about it. So we should just score with what we can. I don't know if we want to have an all constant leave. That'll just invite a slow play of some sort. We can probably do much better than that. Look at this. Had we? I wonder if there was like a QIBLA available earlier. We didn't have the tiles for it when we had the Q. Oh, I totally did, didn't I? We missed a really huge play with the Q. I could have gone QIBLA here a few turns ago. We actually had that. But now it's too late to do it. That would have been 50 something. Absolutely missed it. Played too quickly. Okay, so assuming that my opponent will go out at the very least on the left side, let's see if we can just... We need to make sure we don't give something away like, you know, the E on top of land, which at least doesn't hit anything too bad. But I need to try to just maximize equity on this play, and I don't see a good way to do it. Do we have something through the NU here? Maybe... Oh, well. Let's just go with that so we can at least have a... Oh, except this gives a huge spot back for VIAE. So that's even worse. We'd still win, but that's quite a bit worse. Surely I have something decent here. How do I not see anything on this play? Maybe just nodal somewhere. Oh wait, I do have nodal. Unless I'm thinking of nodular. The thing is, I don't want to lose to this if I'm wrong. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, minus 16. My opponent would need to get over 3, 9, 1. That's fine. We'll still survive even if this is wrong. Nodal? Nodal has to be good, right? Unless it's only nodular. Let's go nodal. If I'm wrong, we still survive. That's the important thing. Yeah, vibe over there. That's what might be happening. And then we just need NT. Surely we can do at least NIT or something similar. I don't think we have some crazy parallel or something that would work elsewhere. Let's just go with this. Too bad about that Kibla play. Oh, also, I totally didn't see. So, two phonies on the board. First of all, this is no good. IB was actually sitting on the board for the longest time when that play went down, so both words were no good on that play. And so I was so fixated on playing this, I didn't even take advantage of the fact that we could have played through his, that I didn't see that there were actually two phonies made on that move. So that was spectacularly bad. But I have a certain blindness for phony twos when I'm playing online, and I think a lot of people do because you're not physically seeing your opponent place things on the board. Anyway, let me update the record and we'll head to the next round. I wonder why I thought NIVAS was good. Maybe I just didn't look at it properly at all. But we are being called into the next one now, so let's just go. I wonder if it was good by itself. Maybe not. No, it was just completely wrong. We have Fernier. And then we'll do something here. We would, of course, be looking for the over prefix. But maybe not wickiest. And let's see if we can, if we have like somewhere for overpays. Overpays, we do have that through the R. We do have that through this R. Let's take a look at both spots to see what. So overpays here would have the O in that spot. It's an identical spot essentially on the right. But here you kind of obstruct more lanes, I guess, because you obstruct a double-double through the E. There might be something better with this one, but I don't want to spend too much time on it. Like something to do with vapor or... I mean, there might be something through either the I or the E, probably more likely through the I, just given the vowel diversity. Like vaporize. Vaporize? No, it doesn't fit very well, though, because vaporize just dangles to right side. 74. I think it's actually better to go overpays. 72. And we obstruct both of the over double-double lanes, so... A big shootout here so far, but not so much for me next turn. Next turn, we will need to prioritize dumping out the O's. We'll see exactly how that looks. I mean, you know, we might just go OO over here. Two to rises. Wow, look at that. Beautiful 9. Beautiful 9. And yeah, I think we just follow up over here. I mean, we're out of steam, so... What a first 4 turns in this game. Absolutely wild. And I was thinking that overpays would block up so much stuff too, and then he strings this disconnected 9. Ooh, look at that inboard. Yeah, we don't have much to do here. Might just have to go cool. Looking like a cool slug of a play. Unless I have a better way to... I mean, maybe we go logo. That sacrifices 9 points to go CL rather than GL. Because the G is so ugly. And this is no longer really that much of an S-hook board anyway, but we'll see. I think I have to take the points. I wonder if Wikius takes anything in front as well. But this is closing up pretty quickly here in terms of lanes for comebacks. Congratulate, very nice. Here, unfortunately, I don't have a good way to play J something on the left side to parallel that, because I don't have anything that will go to the left of the E. Wild game, this one. But we're not getting the draws to keep up momentum, unfortunately. I mean, we could maybe set up the J, but it's not really that many points to do that, even if we did. And so we may just have to do something. Like, I don't know if we can land a J in this spot either. I don't see a way to do it. We could spend the S for 40. I think the triple is likely to go down after that. I really wish we didn't have to spend the S. I really don't like that UGE leave for 40. I think we can maybe do better, but like, for example, if you do luge over here, then you get an E lane on the left side, and then you set up the J for the next turn, but I also don't think I'm confident that will stay open. But we actually do need to give ourselves some kind of possibility. That's too slow, though. Like, we're 120 behind, and it's still going to average only about 30 a turn. Let's see if we have something up here. With, whoops, the J, but we don't have a good ending over the U. So that will not really work. I mean, we can just go here for 23, keep IES, and then that would be something where we'd be looking at the L lane on the right side, which is the only real possibility at the moment, or perhaps the F on the left. I think that might actually be the best thing we can do here, unless we just keep the L. Or Juga, which I think is good. Takes an E, takes an L. Yeah, because, okay, then we still threaten a few things, unless we want to undouble it. Let's go that. We have boilers, reboils. Doesn't go anywhere at the moment. I don't think... The concern with keeping that L is that it doesn't double well with the L on the right side. Indeed, we're kind of seeing that be a problem here. I don't think he's going to give me something as convenient as boilers or reboils somewhere on the board. I don't see anything through the E in the bottom, but we could be wrong about that. Yeah, boilers, reboils. Nope, still doesn't fit. Well, we shouldn't squander the opportunity over here if we can do something. Yeah, we gotta look at this as an 8 to see if maybe we missed anything good with it. We need to make some space, especially up top. And it's hard to see how to do that at the moment. I don't think that triple is staying open much longer. So maybe we even just go boiler over here, keep ES. That kind of closes a lane, but again, I really don't think that's going to remain open. I have to look at this carefully because I wonder if erosible. Erosible? Wait, erosible. Hang on. I think this is good. Erosible. Yes. Yes, I think so. Let's go with it. Good thing we saw that. I was just about to pass on it. I'm pretty sure it's good. Like there's an erodible, I think, and like I don't even know if it's with the I or the A. I think it looks better with the I. Erodible, erosible. They both look familiar to me. Okay, back in it. And we'll... I mean, we're still behind, but let's see if we can do anything here. Look at that. He's going super risky, just taking the points and opening things up. I don't really like the lack of synergy with what we keep. It would go something like Veep. If I can do something going low, I think I would prefer it, but obviously I would like to get rid of the V if possible. The other thing we could do is maybe do this, because then we keep men and then we open up a new lane on the top. The P remains pretty volatile. I wonder if we want to even play off that many. Like if we... wonder if we have a better way to deal with that. I don't think eval is good. Speaking of elo earlier, I feel like certainly in chess and other game theoretic contents, we hear people talking about evals all the time, but I don't think that's been added yet. I feel like it's one that's going to be just a matter of time. This would close out to triple on the left. It would be better than veal, but maybe not as flexible when it comes to opening the lane. I want the volatility anyway. Let's keep it open. Now, when we have the Y, we should still look at the ly ending on the right side. We should look at man, men where possible, but I don't think we're going to get that this turn. Handyman through, from an H rather. I don't think we're getting that at all. I don't see a scenario where he gives me an H in the middle of space. But if we had that, we would have handyman. I think I was one overlap away from Velamin on top of erosible, except for the J and I here. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. Now, in spite of there being 4 eyes in the pool, I cannot do anything with this Q, which is extremely annoying. But if we put something like a Y ending there, then that would at least close it off a little bit. But of course, there's no point in doing something like that unless we have something like something day. I feel like he's setting up his own eye there, probably, if he's hanging on to a lot of stuff. We should actually just leave the top open. We might be going like even penny here. Or I feel like pandy is good. Pandy. Unless I have a way to go up top with that, but then we don't want top lanes all be blocked together. Like we want a top lane open. If he has an eye play to the right of the queue, that just happens. I want to make sure we have lanes available for a comeback play. I know Pandies is good. So surely Pandy is good. There's a Pandies, Pansy, and something else. Unfortunately, no Pandymen. Let's go Pandy. This is not looking good at the moment. 4 eyes still unseen with 8 in the bag, and the Q spot will not be something I can get to, I don't think. If we have somewhere where I can just go fun or fume even, although I don't like keeping that double N. That blocks off the left side though. 5 in the bag, X unseen. I actually don't mind fume right now. It keeps the score somewhat within reach. You still technically have the L lane on the right side. The top lane is the one that actually looks like a lane at this point. I don't like closing this off, but you need a vowel start there anyway. It is a vowel heavy bag, so it's not impossible with all the E draws available. And then we'd be looking at these areas of the board, essentially. I think in the ideal scenario, I find a decently scoring place to play off FUN. But if we don't have that, I think we just have to go fume on the left. Unless we go fun over here, 15, to try to undouble the N for a pretty big point sacrifice. So, and which still kind of blocks on the right side. So I'm looking at fume, 26. That has double N drawing into a very well heavy bag. We can go fun over here. Notice that O is not great in terms of not fitting over the L here as a second tile. But it is the last O, it's the case O, and so maybe that's still okay. The problem is that, of course, this is essentially closed, unless you have something like a wild 2 vowel start there. So we would be down to 2 lanes if we do this. If I have a better place to play fun, we'll do it. So do we sacrifice the 11 points to go fun rather than fume? I think we do. And then we draw way too vowel heavy into that. And with 2 in the bag, I think we lose this. I'm pretty sure we lose it at this point. We'd be looking at stuff like Ho over here. 37, that still does decently. Moreover, I think that this is a spot that my opponent is unlikely to take. So that will be making up some points at least. You know, maybe we should have gone for that instead. Like go fume, looking at the pool, try to draw into something like the H to make something like a 40-ish point play. And then we might regret sacrificing that many points, but I'm too far behind at this point, I think. A really wild game, especially up front with so many bingos on the board. Yeah, 7 bingos on the board between the two of us. Just a beautiful shape. Absolutely lovely shape to it. And it's such a relatively low score, too, between the two of us. Because a lot of the bingos didn't really hit spots that were that high scoring. Like Radulate was kind of in the middle of nowhere. Inboard was in the middle of nowhere. You know, you'd expect a much higher score going on. Unfortunately, okay, so that's dead as a play. So yeah, with the 7 in the bag, and we know what our opponent has at this point. It is kind of game over for us, but we'll see what we can do that is at least reasonable. Oh, we don't even, you see, this was a kind of interesting situation in that we had so many eyes in the pool and I drew none of them after a roastable. Like we still had, I think, 4 eyes unseen at that point, and my opponent got all of them. Which is probably why the Q position on the right worked out, and which likely was enough to get him over the line. I don't really see much I can do at this point. This kind of leaves an X-bomb down below. Yeah, that hits too hard with the X. I can't do it. Why don't we just do this? This gives away stuff like exit. I don't like it. We have to play quickly here. Yeah, I don't really see much that I can do though. If we do something like this, no, that still gives away the X on the right. How about something with an E start? Like, I have nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yeah, everything gives away the X. Absolutely everything gives away the X spot. No, that gives away the X with the EX. I have nothing. Okay, you know what? Let's just play. I don't even think I have an out of this. I just did a bit of a panic play here with the ending. This was extremely suboptimal, but I just saw nothing going on here. We have the THEE on the right side as a potential out. I don't think that'll stay. I think he's likely going to have some kind of X play hitting a double. At the very least, he has stuff like exit or Nix, I guess. And then I can't even hit anything out of this. This is just... whoops, I'm over time. That's okay. We'll... Yeah. This is a terrible ending. But let's just play out of it. Lost steam at the end there, unfortunately. Wikius is no good. I didn't challenge it. For some reason, I wasn't really even considering that one. Like, I should have checked it in 5-point challenge, but like I just didn't even stop to think about it. So Wikius is a phony. Yeah, because I was kind of seeing my own bingo and I was playing immediately into it. So yeah, that's one big blunder for me there, letting Wikius go. And you're thinking Wikius is as plausible as Velius. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to see, Wiki by itself. Like a candle that's Wiki. You see, here's the thing, the Wiki is good. And he actually had Zurises, Tzurises, when I played Two to Rises. Well, when he played Two to Rises, rather. I'm going to put that in the chat because this is... I don't think I knew this word, actually. The ZU in there being so low probability. Oh, it's the same as Zuris. But it can pluralize. Zuris, Zurises. I see. Yeah, because I totally thought, okay, Wiki is something I was seeing, like W-I-C-K-Y, and then Wiki has just seemed natural, but that's what happens when you don't actually know what words mean. Anyway, absolutely wild game. But in the end, we did lose steam. So we'll see if we're going to be pulled into the next one yet. If not, we'll first of all update the record to show that 3 rounds in, we're at 1 and 2. This was a fun one, though. Yeah, this is the director of this group who organizes it week to week, and so I play with him every single week when I'm here, and our games are always just the wildest ones in either direction. They're just consistently interesting, even if they don't wind up being close. So yeah, let's until we're actually pulled into the next round, we can take a look at the board. We didn't have time to look at the first two, obviously. I haven't requested the computer analysis for anything today yet because we haven't had the really close sort of situations that might merit that. I'll actually request it for this one just in case we want to look at anything, but I don't know if we'll go over it at the end. Usually it's the difficult decisions that we'd be looking for. So yeah, there's no bingo available on this rack. If Wikius is no good. So I didn't see approves, but again, there's nothing that goes to the double doubles. We did see vaporize, but ultimately went with overpays. Yeah, Tudor rises with either blank placement for 118. Just Furziest there as well. So yeah, we'll be pulled into the next round pretty quickly here. So I'm just doing a quick check. Liberos I missed. It scores the same as Roastable. Obviously, we wouldn't want to give away the parallel under a J for that, so the fact that I took a Roastable was pretty good. It didn't even see Brawlies. And yeah, not much potential for me near the end. But we might look at this game later just to see if the end game could have been better navigated. Let's get into the next one. Yeah, libero, an Italian term for a footballer who plays behind the backs. Very relevant to the World Cup, apart from the fact that the Italians are not present. I don't think there's a selfers or anything that's. But then we have this situation where we have to do something with the fact that we have the doubled S. And it's actually not clear how we should deal with it because we can show that I'm giving away the S essentially, but what would we even do with that if we... I'm almost kind of tempted to just go... I don't want to spend both E's, otherwise we'd just go Fleas or something, keep RS with 2 E's to play through perhaps. Fleas or Feels. Feels. Keep RS. That might be fine. It's too bad that we're kind of breaking this rack, but at least we get a bit of a point advantage early. After a change 2 on my opponent, though, I feel like they might be close to something. And so maybe after the first tile exchange, we should exchange and just dump in FLS. Because after a change 2, I feel like something might happen. So either I go exchange FLS, which the computer will not like, but it's very much a responding to the opponent play, or we just go Feels. After a change 2, I think we actually do it. Serene Inseer on this one, so we'll have something. Terminator, we will be back with more of Rhythm Heaven in the next stream. I don't know if I can do it tomorrow necessarily, but certainly later in the week. We are far from done with it. Do I have something to go on top of here? Sora, no, that's Kingdom Hearts. We can go parallel to this probably with either Esrine or Inseer. Let's see if we can do it in a spot that makes sense. So my opponent's just kind of managing rack right now. The thing about Inseer is that we'll not take a back hook, and so that might actually be fine. Oh, also, I should see if we have something with the A going to the triple, but that's a little too vowel heavy. I don't think we have it. So probably Inseer. in this position. Although actually this might even be better because then you, well, either way the R kind of gives away a potential consonant. The I is in a worse position there. Let's do this. With the I on the left of the triple, it mostly just gives away the F. It doesn't give away anything super heavy for parallel like the X or the Q, and so that's the rationale for that. So this is kind of an ugly rack. We'll see what we can do to at least get rid of the V, I would think. But we'll see about that. Terminator, you're asking me if I would do well at a spelling bee? Oh, I don't know about that. I have known some people who were very high up in competitive spelling bee, including some who switched to Scrabble later. And is very much a skill set of its own. The thing about spelling bees is that they also have a particular meta to them in terms of what tends to be given and what tends to be worth preparing. I think probably we just go for a small play like veggies for 11. Unless I can do something through here or through here. If I can get rid of the V and a W, that'd be great, but we don't really have that because of lack of things like I's to play through. Actually, it's probably fine to just go whim or mu over here. And then GEEV is still terrible, but the thing is, it's still playably terrible. And at least we kill that spot. And then we'll see what we can do this turn. You were thinking I should get rid of the additional view with something like Mueller? No. Well, I don't know, because like with E's aren't too bad in terms of being a tile that you keep two of depending on what you're going for. Like I knew that I would need some vowels to give myself some flexibility with the B and G to get rid of them. Now, we can probably just go glove under jape. The O is in a spot that might be a problem. I don't think there's any kind of thing like N glove. Unglove, sure, but I think we just take this. And we're still very consonant heavy, but we'll try to make it happen. Dr. Cliche, how is JAP not expurgated? I think it's one of those that's not present in, I don't think it was ever present in WoW or NWL. It means something that, like, has an insufficiently offensive meaning, I guess. Let's see about this. Obviously, the I would go well with the F, as we were saying before, but we don't have a way to use that at the moment. If we can do something to drop a good consonant here, that'll be good, but I don't see it. We're just very heavy on all this right now. I'm trying to see if we have something that would land on top of ORA. The M goes there, the F goes there. I think the D actually goes there too. Dora? Maybe. I'm thinking of Antidora. Antidora the Explorer. Yeah, a difficult turn, this one. I'm trying to see if we have a way to... Okay, you know what? Let's just go fend over here, despite giving up on the spot. Unless we go fend up top, but I just can't remember if Dora is good, but the E's in a bad spot there, so... The F is kind of in a bad spot there, too. It gives away the T and the S. And we're keeping all that stuff. I guess... What if we just go, like, fend over here, and then Z could potentially be set up on the left? Depending on what we draw. We're doing a draw that, for example, TIZ now goes in the left. That's exactly the kind of draw we were going for, although, of course, I'm still extremely consonant heavy. Before we do that, let's make sure we don't have something better on the right side. Or we do have MIRV, M-I-R-V, like the missile, but it doesn't go anywhere at the moment, so I think we will almost certainly just go TIZ here. And we'll still need to dig ourselves out of consonant hell. I'm not ahead by very much right now. The R would go there beside IF if we manage to do anything with that. So for example, something like here would go for 36, but of course then you would end up keeping VUM, which is itself playable as a word, just not very conveniently at the moment in any spot that makes sense. Dora, you think is the Old English word for a bumblebee, which you believe is related to our drone. What do you mean, our drone? Anyway, before we think about that, so I don't like keeping VUM in spite of the fact that it is theoretically playable. 2 blanks unseen. If we have something that will... Actually, is VAUR good? I'm thinking of WAUR. Okay, and I don't think VAUR is good. It's where, war, and ver, but I don't think VAUR is good, so I wouldn't try it. Trying to see if we have something through here. Also, notice that Einsier, I think, takes the T on top for Teensier. We should not forget that if it becomes relevant later. You know what? Let's just take it. Oh, not or. Let's go here. Unless there is something that I can do to have a better situation coming out of it. Sure, let's hope we don't get triple through here. So yeah, we do have the T for Teensier if it becomes relevant. At the moment, we'll probably want to take out the triple situation that we created for ourselves. I'm also way down on time, as usual. Oh, it's related to our modern English word drone. I see what you mean. I know anti-Dora is good. I just couldn't remember Dora. There might be a bit of lexicon confusion with that too. Definitely fora and mora and so on, but obviously we can get ourselves out of the VU situation. That would be better, but can't really force it. We'll see what happens. And yeah, Hunks, ooh, spending the blank. Look at that. Spending a blank for only 33. That's a bit of paranoia for you. I almost want to just dump a single V here for 12 because it is such a drag on the rack at the moment. I don't think that's actually a good play, but we can maybe go Tum over here. Having seen my opponent just spend a blank and showing that they are not holding S. Because at least we need to at least deal with the U and the V separately in some way, even though we have... Well, especially because we have the Q already out. I think we will go for that. Okay, this is looking better. Let's see if we have something. I feel like we might. We absolutely have to check the ing possibility. Evolving through another V, if it comes to that. OVER is always something that is worth checking. I feel like we're close to something here, actually. I have to think about this properly. Because... yeah, Vogie is good. Well, we'll see. If I can just make a small adjustment here. We have to check this P over here as well, if we have something with the ing. Otherwise, we just need to get rid of some of this stuff. I should check this M down here, actually. There might be something that can be done with it. Otherwise... well, we could just play... oh, I'm so far down in time. I think we'll just go maybe GOV up top. And that's a pretty good leave coming out of that. And then we're in very good bingo position going into this turn. At least I thought we were. So we have to W to deal with now. Maybe we missed something there, but we'll see. Yeah, E also takes to W in front of a Weenseer. That's a good call there. I wasn't really holding... oh, I guess... no. We played Weenseer, and then, yeah, that's right. We had a W there that turn. I don't think we had a good play off of it necessarily, but... look at that. Very vowel heavy on my opponent's side. I did have the W because I played Weenseer, didn't I, before we... I played Weenseer and drew into the W, but we took the bottom spot instead, and I think it's still better to take the bottom spot in that situation rather than keep something big up top. So we have to... I almost think that we should fish off a single W. Because this is such an incredibly strong leave that W for 9 actually makes sense. And in fact, we'll have something here, enlaces and so on. Maybe we can do something here with the NS ending. No, with the, there's something else in there too. It's Sanical. Yeah, none of those fit with the NS. Definitely, I think we would have something through the P. Let me just see. Calipers has the P too low. Okay, I'm low on time. At the very least, we have something like Sanical or Scaleni up here. I think we can probably hit the P though, but am I able to hit the P with something that hits the double? That's the thing. I don't really have enough time to look at this. Oh, wait. Let's look at the W down at the bottom. MIS. Miss something? Miss. I don't have enough time to look at it. I am pretty certain I'm missing something from the M. What's worse? They're both bad. I'm sure I'm missing something from the M, but we have to just take it. Oh, we should look at the LESS ending as well. I'm sure we missed something big there, but we'll find out. Mescaline's too long. I was thinking about something like that too, but we don't have a 9 there. And unfortunately, the X will hit for the huge spots, but maybe we're still okay, given that we have the E to follow up there. ED something. Can we do something with a Y? I don't think we actually have something that we can do. We can just go dryly for 40. And at this point, I need to play quickly enough to not lose on time for going a full minute over and just straight up lose. So I don't think you can outbeat something, can you? Outbeat? Maybe. Maybe you can, actually. I don't think I'd try it in this kind of situation when this is very much still losable, but we'll see what we can do. Probably we'll just go bout or butte or something on the right side and just play quickly. The P on the left side is definitely still looking vulnerable. You have a lot of suffixes like ing, ion, etc. that are still, and ed, etc. that are still available in the pool, even if it is very heavy with things like the O's. But probably we just go something like bout, and then we at least somewhat close off the M, even if it's still vulnerable to an S. I don't think we try something like outbeat, even if it is available. We'll see, because the next play almost certainly is going to empty the bag, and I do need to. Well, I don't have enough time to look at out in 2 sequences and such. So right now the priority is just to not lose. There's no H to follow up on a C over there with Daco. So I think we might just. Can I do something just to the E up top? Something OUE, something OAE. Why don't we just go like this and just close it? because I absolutely see some risk, like bingo risk on the top right now. I'm almost certainly going to go overtime here. Also, I emptied the bag with a 2-tile play. Oh, well, that's okay. We needed to do it. Yeah, and then we'll just continue building to take points. I mean, I kind of expect that my opponent will just go OB up top. Unless there's, yeah, OB up top expected. And then we just need to maybe just play off tiles, and going slightly over to lose 10 points is fine, although with the S on my opponent's rack, I feel like they might potentially hit something. So let's see what happens. We'll probably just go TED or TAD over here. Or, no, we have nothing under ST. Yeah, we'll probably be pushed over, but it could be worse. Can I just pre-move this? I don't know how likely that is to be taken with what my opponent's holding. I mean, they're looking for an out, almost certainly, just with the 5 tiles. There might even be one. I don't even know what I'd play in their position at the moment. Probably something down here. Like, I don't think there's anything that will go stretching the R and the S. But I was thinking, like, if you had something like Japer that would stretch over to Ryan's, or even just any kind of play with Japer. I mean, Rims is almost certainly the best out at this point on this move. Like, you just go Rims. And we have 2 seconds to pass after that, which I'll probably miss. Did we lose to... Oh, Sim. Okay. I'm given the opportunity to... Missed Rims there. That's interesting. We might have lost to that, actually, given time here. We could have lost if my opponent just saw Rims. I don't have enough time to calculate it. Let's just get out of here. Yeah, because the thing about the way that Wiggles is implemented is that normally clock stops when the play is out, but because you actually have to confirm the last play with a pass when the other player plays out, if you go overtime, you still get the -10, which is something that does not happen over the board. And so you always have to leave yourself a buffer, even if the opponent's going out. In this case, I made it slightly out, and all words here are valid. So 2-2 so far on the day, and we'll head into round 5 when we're called in. But for now, let's just take a quick look. I will probably grab the sim for this one as well, because I feel like we made some bad decisions near the end. But yeah, so nothing on my rack. We could have had Fearless if we were given one of the 3 A's that my opponent had going on, but Interior, Esrine, yeah. Wem and Weem, I didn't see that spot. Weenseer at the time. Aquifer was available for my opponent. Luckily, they didn't see it. There was that other spelling of aquifer that we missed in one of last week's games, I think. Just trying to see if there was anything really big. Medicals, miracles, musical, medicals, mescaline. Mescaline without the E on the end, that's good. I didn't have enough time to consider it. No, we were just so close to getting flagged at that point. Anyway, so yeah, that's a big miss near the end, but that's one of those plays where I knew I missed something. I just didn't have enough time to check. We'll be first. I can play Uribi and keep an O, I guess, or that's actually probably best. Unless we had a way to keep one additional consonant. We actually do have an X spot in 2 places for ourselves. We have Gox or Socks in both places. Gox for 40 over here. No, we don't have Socks. We have Nox over here. The leaves are terrible either way, but we wouldn't pass up the X bomb for that, I don't think. And I think at least one of them will remain available. I think we should have access to minimum 1. I think we might even go Socks for that. GNST rather than SNST. With NG, that's not the worst synergy. Notice that we would leave the ING on the right, but that would probably be taken by then. Yeah, Dr. Cliche, you seem to recall being very peeved at the existence of Aqua for recently. No, 100% I missed that on a stream, or at least didn't know it in a recent game, either last week or the week before. That was something we had talked about. And one that I would not have known because it is Collins only and kind of deep enough in that set that I wouldn't have looked at it. I haven't looked at all the Collins 7 and 8 Qs yet, even though I probably should. Okay, greet over here. I don't think we have a better play than what we already looked at with the X on the right side, so we'll... In spite of how really ugly this looks, I think we have to take it. It looks pretty bad, though, in terms of SSTG. But I don't think we can pass it up. And then we've got some grist for the mill here. Not that it's going to go down anywhere. We should see if there's anything through the E. Grassiest if we have disconnected tiles to play through, which will not happen. I should actually look at if there's anything through the NE, even if it is just a situation of playing 5 tiles or something. Like even just Signet is not going to score anything for me here, but probably just looking at something like Grist or even Grist at this point and play everything off keep as. I feel like there might be something through the end there. Like with an STS ending. Even any RTS ending. Or we can just go GIS. Tempting to just put a T on the end there to open up for one of my own S's because, like, what's the probability my opponent has the blanks or the other S? Right? Like, if we go like that, then we can set up an S hook to dump the other S. That might even be worth it. Because I'm depending on holding all the S's, although blank could hit there, obviously. And then on this turn, then we can play off the other one. You know, just go bars or something on the right. Challenged, really? Okay. Yeah, we had a small group today, so this was one of the newer or lower rated players who was kind of pulled into the top group with us to make the numbers work because we do have a smaller turnout than usual, and so we still had enough to run a bit of a round robin format for the first 5 today, I think, and then we'll see who I play at the end. But I might be heavily favored in this game. But Scrabble is a game that, just because of the random elements, massive rating upsets do happen. So, oops, bars. I think that'll probably be fine. It totally closes things up a bit. So, despite keeping RST, we don't really have a bingo friendly situation on the board right now, but I think we still have to do it. Trying to see what we can do with the J here. I don't really see a way to hit the Y down below. Because you can imagine some plays would go something, 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 GY, right? And we don't have it. But yeah, we can like just play out joy or joy somewhere. That's potentially pretty good. We don't have a spot for that right now, but like I wouldn't just go joys, I don't think, even though it's not a very S-hook board. Actually, that's not bad. 27 when the S isn't really that useful for us right now. That's not bad. But if you were using the blank, yeah, I mean, like I said, I think this is a less experienced opponent because normally nobody uses the blank like that. Now, I think we just play this unless I have a better way to... Like, we could go 23 up here. I don't really like keeping the Y in that situation necessarily. It's not really a bingo board. Let's just play it. J might kind of give away the triple lane there, but I don't know that we care. Because ERT is still pretty good. Do I have something from the J this turn? I don't see it. We're still a little vowel heavy at the moment. Trying to see if we have something that would end with the I under here. Just to get rid of it. Trying to see if we have... I'm trying to remember. It sounded like Ictarine would be good. I don't think so. But there are a few words that are with the Ictar start. Regardless, priority this turn is obviously just to untangle ourselves from the I situation, so we'll see what happens. Now do we have something from the J that's worth checking? If not... I think I just go IE here. Depending on opponent's strength, this is something I'd normally maybe not do because it does kind of score very little and open up a lane, and we'd be within comeback range for one bingo, but maybe we're being sloppy and we'll see what happens. Ukraine is good. I don't know if there's something else that would be starting with the EU. WAR, war. I don't think it takes anything additional. I'd actually maybe just go with like cutie or something here. Again, maybe this is a bit sloppy play to just leave a triple open, because even with less experienced opponents, you just never know when they might hit something huge, and it's not good to let your guard down too much. Showing a bit of consonant heaviness there, perhaps. I actually think this might not be too bad. Even though I don't like the I and the R together like that so much, but we can keep scoring, and we have thick over here. It would take the EST on the end for an extension, or even SET as an extension. So yeah, we did see icterine earlier. Was it actually available? I don't think it was, right? Or was it available through fewer? Was that going down yet? No, Marlin had already been played, so icterine was not available anymore, I think. Yeah, it looked kind of familiar. It was the only thing I saw that looked even remotely like a playable word. Co-opt, not bad. And I might even just go Turk or something through here. It would have been nice to go if we had an N for thunk or something similar, but despite the doubled I feel like we can't really say no to that. It would have been nice if we could take it all the way, but I think we take the points. I hope there's no extension on this or front hook to this that I'm forgetting about. And of course, we get what we deserve for keeping so many eyes. We'll see what we can do with that. This board is very closed up right now. Not a lot going on that has bingo possibilities, and that works for us since we're 100 ahead. This is kind of a lane. This is kind of a lane, but I feel like that stuff isn't long for this world. We might even just go Avi over here, unless I can do something to take out even more eyes. I'm trying to see if we have something to extend here, but I don't really see it. But anyway, the board situation works out well for us at the moment. Maybe even do something through here. I'm trying to see if we have something that would go there. I mean, OK is only really vulnerable to an A start or an I start. That we might even be making a lane worse by doing something like this. Trivia, we doesn't fit. But just take this over here, maybe. Actually, do I have something that will go to the GI? Let's just take it. Technically, I guess the V is sort of a low probability lane over here. We don't care. I'll probably go Heli this turn for 28, unless we see something much better. And then having something slightly vowel heavy with the IRE afterwards actually still works out for something like a vowel start on either lane. Oh, we had trivia over here. We totally had just had trivia. That should have been a play. Trivia from that T. That looks way better than what I did here, but that's okay. I think we actually just go HIE here and just kill that spot, because this just opens anyway, and so we'll have a bit more balance. Unless I can do something that does even better there. No, I think we just go with this. A little bit value heavy at the moment. Otherwise, we would be close to something, maybe. Q is still unseen at the moment with one U. I'm ahead by enough that we can probably just close things down for the most part. But that would be a reason to perhaps keep the U. I don't think we're going to get killed by a Q stick or something, but we'll see what happens. Trying to see if we have a vowel dump that fits here, but it would have to have an A ending, and I don't see that being the case currently. Actually, something like this for 14, except, of course, that leaves a spot open for the Q bomb, so maybe not. And in fact, this has the same problem over here. Q bomb up top. So, Unco, I don't even know about Unco. I know Junco. Like, it would take the J on top, but the J has been spent, so we don't care. Do I have a way to just dump vowels into this? Maybe. Notice, you know what? We'll just challenge that anyway. Why not? It's good. But that's okay. We don't want to be complacent. Well, now at least the Q won't. Well, it would still hit for 60-ish if we leave the A open for it. Mostly you'd be worried about stuff like QADI or just QI at this point, since my opponent has no U. We want to keep the U at this point for the Q play. Which tells me, what do we even do there? Might just go EAR up top. Yeah, just kill it. Okay, Z available. Unco is Scots. No wonder I didn't know it. AAHED. Ah. And Joseph, welcome. I'm trying to see if we have something that would fit here, actually. Actually, the Z would fit in this spot here if we just have something ZE, or even if we just dumped a Z. Like, it makes sense to slow play at this point. With 3 in the bag, we just don't empty. And then dump this for 42. Obviously, if we have a way to go even further with that, like, oh, there's no IM, unfortunately. Otherwise, we'd have something there. I don't know if we have some other way to string the Z over to that spot. Yeah, it's actually kind of looking like just play off the single Z. And at this point, if we draw the Q, who cares, right? But we don't empty the bag because, you know, long shot of something through here perhaps that we might have to worry about. Long shot, but things can happen. It might even be worthwhile. Nah, well, I don't think we give it that many points. No, let's just play out to Z. Just take it. Because the thing is, if my opponent has the Q, at this point for bingo to work out, blank would have to be a U, and so we probably don't need to worry too much about something like that because you don't have a situation where you'd have the blank S. This way, if we make them empty the bag, then I can... Yeah, this must have been a late queue or something because... Remarkable to me that it didn't actually come out. Anyway, at this point, I guess we just denied a queue. We can't really deny it well because... You know, at the very least, you just have QI over here, QI over here. There's a way to play it off regardless, but maybe we can do something interesting. Or trying to see if we can do anything interesting this way. Like, trying to remember if this is good. PILA. There's like PILAR, PILAF, obviously. I truly can't remember. Well, anyway, let's try to play this properly. If we can. Till I think LEW is good. That's still not really getting me into any kind of out in two, though. Let's see if we can look for an out in two. I don't know that we'll have one, but the practice is worthwhile, I guess. Like maybe... No. You think you made the same phony that I made the other week? Did I play COE the other week? I don't even remember that. Unless I just dropped it on the board by mistake. That doesn't sound like something I did recently, but maybe I don't remember. And I blocked it from my mind. So I actually don't remember if this is good. PILA. You know what? Let's just get out of here. I don't think I see the out in two sequence, but there probably was one. Oh yeah, you know what? We actually had stuff from under the J here. If I took the time to look at it, which I didn't. That's okay, we'll just follow that up. Oh yeah, that might have been just a misplay where I misplaced it somewhere and my opponent didn't challenge. I think I remember that now, actually, now that you mention it. I almost certainly just missed an out and two on this segment here. We probably could have gone like Peel, P-A-L over here. Yeah, Q by itself, that's kind of expected. We should just play this off, I think. Oh. 23, and then handle the U somewhere else. Lots of places for the U, even if they don't score. My opponent will have films or filmy over here, though. That'll probably be the out. That's the best one I can see. 26 for films or filmy. Filmy just being the Bollywood term for film. Pulvil. A perfumed powder, also Pulvilio and Pulvil. Yeah, Pulvil through here. I would not have seen it. I just don't know it. But we know it now. That's the important thing. Yeah, my opponent clearly struggled a little bit this game, but like I said, it was someone who's kind of pulled up into this group because we were low in numbers today, so hopefully at least a learning experience. And yeah, Filmy will go down as expected, so let's pass on it. So that's it for this one. And Mang, welcome. So we're on 3-2 after 5 out of 6 games played. Oh, you actually learned Polville from the Nigel and Adam Logan match. For some reason, I think I must have missed a game where that came in, or I wasn't paying attention for that move, because I did see most of the match, but not the whole best of 15. I did see a really big chunk of it, but I didn't go over any of the games I missed. All right, round 6. And yeah, I've got an exchange play coming unless I have a massive spot for QIN. What do we even keep out of this? Do we just do change 7, or do I keep like maybe ND or a crawl? Very nice. A crawl? Do we like that? Or am I thinking of scrawl? Like, why wouldn't you just play crawl? Unless you're very vowel heavy and didn't want to keep a 2-vowel leave. I'm trying to see if I have something that would justify the H for CH. So if we exchange here, what do I keep? Do I dump 7, which I am tempted to do, because what would be the point of keeping like ND or NH or something? Maybe we keep something like ND, because that isn't too bad. Actually, on this board, it's kind of bad. Full mulligan, or let's see. It's kind of tempting to keep the H for the CH spot, but like, how many vowels do we need to draw here? Maybe my opponent was also showing consonant heavy. That's the thing, so we might have a vowel heavy pool. Maybe. Yeah, sure. Let's just go with that. Maybe we should have kept the H for the C spot, but might not be relevant for that long anyway. I feel like some people might have gone and changed 7 there for sure, and we might have to check the sim for it. Joseph, you've seen Polville in Infiniwords. Speaking of Infiniwords, if anybody's been following the 4th of July tournament, and I've only kept up with the results, I haven't been able to keep up with his streams, but Ancient Cosmographer of Infiniwords fame is currently leading the whole pack in a very, very deep field. Actually, a lot of people on the top of each division are pretty recognizable from the sort of Scrabble content creator sub-community. Lots of Scrabble players kind of going the Hikaru route of getting better when they start to make videos. So I think, oh, look at that glissade. I better check it. It's kind of like a glissando, I guess, but double S is fairly high probability. I have to check it. That's good. But I need to, build better habits with that kind of thing. We'll probably just go bind or pinned. Or even just bind. Or even bindy. The thing about keeping pine here is that it doesn't really fit on this board very well. We might even just go down here, actually, and maybe go bind or pined. I'm not keeping BN. We're going bind. Or, yeah, I think so. For 40. Yeah, we do it. Provoker, right? Provoker? There's no E for me to do it, and it's hard to see, given the shape of the board, how I would be given an E in the correct position unless we have something stretch and indeed tomorrow instead. And the thing about this kind of rack is that if you're not given something like Provoker, then the other options are not really that great. Let's undouble the R. I think we have to do it like that. I don't see a good second choice. KOR will take the I think it takes an A, but we have to get ourselves out of some trouble here. I feel like both of us are heading for foul trouble at some point. And, well, let's see what we can do. Do I have something that will go through here? Did he get low T spots? Like with an OA or AO ending? Like, so for example, I think one of these is, if not both of these, is good. I have to remember because it's like, there's something with the F and something with the P where some of them are good and some of them are not. CLV is a terrible leaf anyway, but that scores 27. Doesn't really get us into any kind of playable position though. You don't know about that. Let's see if I can just. Like that. I mean, we can't even follow up under the A if we do that. So we'll just go perv, or even pervo. So we can actually, well, that's the thing. Like none of our tiles go under the O. So nothing here is good. We might even just want to try to draw towards the vowel pool. We'll be going pro. I'm trying to remember if that is even good. Let's go with it. At least we get some vowels, but the UVW situation is not good. Not much to work with. Oh yeah, Dr. Cliché. So I missed something that was, or at least I don't remember the definition of something that is very ballet oriented, right? That rings a bell. That I had some kind of ballet definition in there. Joseph, you realized the phony that we were talking about was low, not go. LOE, not COE. Yeah. But you're recently phonied with both. Glissade is, yeah, because I was thinking like it reminded me of glissando, and I was trying to remember if I knew it 100%. But it's one of those where the thing is I need to challenge more often in 5-point challenge. And as we saw with Wikiest earlier today, sort of 90% certainty is not good enough in a way. That's for big swings, I still need to adjust my threshold for when I challenge. And that's something I know I need to work on. Keep CUL just to get rid of this stuff. I feel like that's fine. This is better. This is way better. Even if it does kind of kill the P triple lane, but then under KOR, that's still got some possibilities. Now here we do have ZO on the left for 53 if it remains open. I don't know that it will for very long. I was very close to valproic, like valproic acid. Ooh, look at that, fish one. Interesting. Oh, I guess it scores 37. Suppose one wouldn't say low. Well, one would say no to that. I think we have to take this, in spite of still being burdened by that U that's been on the rack for how many turns now? Ever since the provoker turn, we've had. Oh, we've just had the U for the past 2 plays. Can't seem to get rid of this thing. Probably would just. Oh, whoops, not guff. A fug, I was trying to say there, but it doesn't fit here. However, do we have an FL play over here? I want to say flicks like that, 51. Unless I'm thinking of flock, FLOC. FLIC, FLOC. I think I'm thinking of FLOC. That's really unfortunate. We're way down. What if I just go flu? I don't like the G there still, but at least we leave ourselves another spot there, unless I just want to go. Like, I don't think I have a good spot to be going ghost or something and just kill my own S lane. Although the IC leave isn't bad, it's just that we destroyed lanes there. If we do this, then we can still follow up with the S down below. And we still leave the S on the right. This is in cages, ceasing. I think these are likely to stay open. And then we have this lane. We have this lane. We should look at anything else that might be possible just in case there are problems. Like, I'm trying to see. Is there anything increasing? Like, I don't think it's a recasing. I don't think it's recasing. It's decreasing. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure recase is no good because I can see the 7 that actually is good in there. Okay, this will be in cages down low. That gets us back into it, 89. We have the QU together, which is not too bad. And then I'm still a big play behind, but things could still go. 9 over there. We probably just leave that. Let's see if there's a Q play that'll get into a decent place here, but oops. Make sure I still have my drawing available. Having to deal with the V at the same time is not great, but well, the thing about the Q is that, you know, keeping it with keeping the U is not horrible. We might just prioritize getting the V out of the way first if we can. But I don't know that we have a way to do it that makes any sense. We do have QUA over here. It is an even draw between vowels and consonants at this point, but I kind of need the points. I think that might not be, well, it's bad, but don't have a good alternative. We just have to try to draw vowels for, I don't know, evident or something and hope for the best. Lanes are not really open at this point except going down to the E on the right side anyway, and I feel like that's going to be blocked up very soon. We have to do it. And, well, okay. We got what we paid for. Might even be an exchange rack this turn, and then because we don't have an N to play through for THA and X or something. I guess we could go NTH somewhere, but let me think about this. I think this has to be an exchange. I just don't know what we would keep. Like we would want to keep maybe THX1138 for some kind of follow-up on top that draws any vowel, well, not any vowel, A, E, or O, and then we would be able to follow up. But I feel like we're definitely giving up on any kind of bingo chance, especially with the pool the way it is. And so I don't know that we have a good way to do this. Like, this isn't going to remain open. The J might even go on top, actually, and just totally kill us. But I feel like we do need to throw in. Throw in HVDN, I think, but don't like having to do it. So I'm just looking for alternatives. I think we have to do it. HVDN, yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like we have a winning route regardless with this exchange. Like, we'd have to look at this one in the same, I think, because I feel like there might have been a critical exchange there that has a non-zero winning percentage. I'm going to check this anyway. It's good. We saw a bunch of variants of retreat in one of the previous games that we streamed as well, I think, and that had come up. Do we even have a way to play through this? So it's one in the bag. I don't think we can fish into anything that will be useful there. This is such a dead looking board, but yeah, because the thing is, if we picked up E, would get like a hexad or something. None of that stuff's going to remain open though. I'm trying to see if we can do something that would actually give me a setup up here. I do not see it, but like if we, oh well, there's no OT rather. Rather, we keep the T. There's no way to string the X over that though. Yeah, we're so close to some things that could have gone with the D on the right. I'm going to see if I can do some kind of X setup. I just don't see a way to do it. Because likely getting some U's into the next play. Maybe small play over here to see. Like the thing is, Podex, had we got into E, would have been fine too. We just don't have the E for anything like that. And I'm running out of time, as usual. Let's just go 41 there. Is exit okay? I think it is. Or am I thinking of something else? I think it's fine. There are a whole bunch of threes with X's that are still slightly unfamiliar to me. Yeah, I could tell from my opponent's last play. Obviously, it was the full rack, so we could see exactly what he had. But I was kind of wondering if EEL was a setup for the J, because JEEL is good, and it looked likely for that to have been a threat. At this point, yeah, we're gonna lose, but we'll see what we can do. Hudden. I don't really think that will go over there. I got nothing to work with here. Where do we even dump this J? Like, we could just go JA here and then still have no way to get out of this situation. Yeah, because the VU will go down somewhere, right? Where's the out? I don't actually see the out. Let's just play it. We'll probably go over again, but... Oh, but the V by itself, yeah. So that's... And then where do we even go? I don't know that I have a way to get out of this situation. Do we have a place for like PHT somewhere? We will be over again. Time management while streaming is still a big problem for us. I'm trying to see if we have something down here. I think we just go PHT and just eat the loss. Yeah, I gave away too much here. And, oh yeah, my opponent was actually just, well, maybe he didn't see it last turn. I don't think there was any point benefit to try and slow play me with that, so that was just seeing it late. Okay, so ended up on 3 and 3 today. Some pretty big swings out of the way. We'll grab the sim on this one as well, I guess, because there were some moments like how I think we could have done the exchanges differently for sure, but I'm not exactly sure how. This was a very closed off board. And it depended pretty heavily on the draws near the end. We had too many consonant heavy leaves on it. Let's make sure I grab the sim request on this, and we'll go back to the ones that I did request, which I think were at least round 2 and 3. We'll go over all the boards at least quickly because I didn't actually look at the earliest rounds. But let me just get over to the standings. And here we are, kind of middle of the pack here. Had I wound up on 4, we would have been up in second place. There was a draw earlier today. That's interesting. Yeah, very negative spread, but that's largely because of that 300-point loss in the first round. That was rather massive. But we'll go over stuff and at least take a quick peek. Some of these we might have looked at already. So this was the massive 300-point loss. And let me just pull up the equity table. Didn't think about Cricky. Yeah, so Crick actually takes the Y as an extension. I don't think I knew that. Oh, it's like the equivalent of Crikey, I guess. Cricky, Crikey. Cornels is good. Look at this. It's Spencer for greasy, I guess. I do know this spelling, Griesi. That's a pretty high probability 7. Gryesy. Yikes. But we did see this YGO spot down here. And yeah, Deister, we talked about that as the big miss. And the thing is, it doesn't just go with Cricks, it goes with Cricky, which we talked about. Pedigree goes down. Noticers is by far the highest scoring. Erroneous. Hauma. I don't think I... Oh, it's an alternative to Homa. A drink made from the Hauma vine used in Zoroastrian ritual. Yeah, Ni Hauma. That's right. We'll try to remember it that way. I should do a quick lexicon check on this one. Collins only. We should get this stuff down colder for sure, like the kind of high fives or heavy fives, the ones that start or end with the 4 or 5 point tiles. They're just too useful. And that's something I should know exhaustively, but I'm still playing a bit of lexicon catch up with it. So, yeah, this is when the board really starts to lock down a little bit. We didn't see Bahut. An ornamental, usually round-topped chest or cabinet. Yeah, so many better plays here than the bum play that we had. I was trying to open a lane with that, though. Clet, I didn't see that overlap. And speaking of high fives, it's a lightweight climbing boot, also Klettersche. If you ever want to have Klet and then you extend with ERSCHUH, given enough room on the board, that would be incredible. Crazy little potential constructed scenario there. I don't think, just by probability, we'll ever see that. But I sort of wonder, it might be in the billion game data set, the kind of computer versus computer data set that was built. Look at that. This is already a double blank situation, and this was available. Alfaki, or Alfaki, teacher of Muslim law, also spellable with the K. Absolutely wild if one can see that. But even so, playing off the Q, keeping double blank, I mean, you know, that's going to look pretty good there. Did I miss Hardy's, really? Oh, that's such an easy one to see, too. I think at that time I wasn't looking closely enough at the S overlap. I was trying to look at the IES ending, and for some reason I just missed this. This is a huge miss. I was losing by 200 at that point anyway, but this was not a very excusable miss on my part. Should have been a very easy one to catch. Yeah, I was considering what to do there. This is going to hit for 122. Then everything just kind of falls apart from that point. So yeah, too bad about the Hearties miss, even though at that point I was just kind of playing for spread. I've asked me Hearties, what a miss. Exactly. Let's take a look at round 2. So this was one where I didn't challenge IB and Nivas up top. Let me just bring up the table. Yeah, so cube worked out over here, perhaps. So equity-wise, change 6 leaving R is better than leaving OR. Again, O is a little difficult to evaluate, but I guess here then you have lower probability slightly of a vowel-heavy draw. Rough board to deal with anyway. Oh, we missed fan art somewhere. For Gator over there. I don't know that we would have played that. I'm happy with what we went with, I think. Wow. Look at this spot here. And yeah, we managed to hit this pretty heavily. Because of the remaining synergy, this actually works out slightly better despite the 3-point sacrifice. Minor optimization, perhaps. Firth and Frith on the right, so Wisp will hit. This was when we missed Cultured and Pultrude and Pustuled. And Ductjewel. So I guess we have to get more comfortable with the UU bingos. Because, again, when I was seeing UU on my rack, other than seeing Outduel, I wasn't really looking very hard. We just sort of wrote this one off. And Joe's going to go down Cyanosis. Is a miss for my opponent, luckily for us. Wow, look at this. Velleity. Very low degree of desire. And look at this variant here too, Velleities. As a 10. That's with 2 L's for Velleity. And this is Scott's Stevely. So yeah, Levius Velius obviously, scoring 18 points less by not hitting the Y. But I would not have seen either of these on the Y. Velleity good in both lexico. That's something that we should maybe keep in mind, despite how low probability it looks. Yeah, Evilus, Televise, etc. A lot of stuff going on there. I like the Velius placement well enough, though. Blow Dart. Trilobed and Troubled. Blow Dart is very defensive there in terms of not really allowing much of a follow-up on the left. And scores 15 more. And yeah, so this was the Massive Phony play that I didn't even look at that has IB on the board, and I didn't even look at Kibla until much later. For a massive gain, look at that. Extra 20 on that. So I was looking at Danny as a possibility over here. I thought it would just kill the A spot. In spite of the fact that if I looked at the pool here, I would have noticed that my opponent has nothing to do with the A as a parallel, that the A was actually totally available for me, even if we played Danny off first, with a much better leave. We emptied a bag, but bingos are not an issue, and scoring plays on the A spot are not an issue, just given what my opponent could possibly draw. So we should have just gone with Danny. Okay. So much for that one. And Dr. Cliche, you're saying this connoisseurs of splendid weaknesses run not by any luster, even velleity, but by vacuum. Oh, yes, that's right. That is where we would have encountered velleity in the wild from Gravity's Rainbow. I remember that passage now that you bring it up. I have read Gravity's Rainbow. It's a fun book, actually. It looks like such a huge undertaking at first, when you haven't started it, but went over it about a dozen years ago and absolutely loved it. I should go over it again when I can. Okay, let's see. So this one here, I'm pretty sure I requested a sim for it. Yeah, we had stepped through it quickly before, but we'll step through this a little bit more carefully. This is one where I gave up Wikiest, which was kind of a big swing. Yeah, it's kind of too bad here that we gave that one away. So approves does come out better than overpays, which is sort of interesting. Approves would have blocked the, or at least denied the two to rises play up top, I guess. But there might have been something else available. Furzius would still be available with approves. A two to rises for 118, just this incredible fit up here. Absolutely incredible play. So Cow preferred over Woo. Oh yeah, I didn't look at the underlap of the Zeto. But that leaves looks so ugly that despite the 11-point sacrifice, I don't know if we would have done that. Also, if you know your Korean StarCraft culture, unfortunately, one of the words that has not made it in yet is Gosu. Or for that matter, Bonjour, which I hope makes it in at some point. Just have a crazy J6 or 7. Yeah, inboard goes down. COLL. I was not confident on it for some reason. To embrace or hug. Oh, yeah, we should have known that. I should know it. It's in, I mean, it's one of the 3 to 4 hooks, COL to COLL. I should have known it. Congratulate goes down. Yeah, that's right. The Yihan timing for adding those words is now exactly. Throw in the Artosis pylon while you're at it. Toggery, Foggy, Gargety. Like I was saying a week or two ago, I think it's just a matter of time before Zerg makes it into the lexicon. I think it's actually, out of anything StarCraft related, by far the likeliest. It's even just naturally appeared in, you know, a lot of ordinary communications about about the conduct of war. I remember it coming up in this call in the Ukrainian military or something where the officials in the Ukrainian military were talking about like the Zerg rushes or something like that with the whole Russian meat shield strategy, you know. So Zerg's just a matter of time. I don't think anything else in StarCraft is nearly as likely to make it. Now let's see. Yeah, well, I just kind of skipped ahead a little bit here. Erosible QAT was actually best here. That's interesting. Keeping QDT at it, that's very curious. I wonder what he was thinking with that play. Maybe looking at the pool with the 5 eye draws and thinking that. Or actually, no, look at this. PRAM keeping Q. He's totally trying to draw into A for QAT up top for doubling up onto the Q. He thinks looking at 4 A's in the pool that there's a reasonable setup for the Q. That's what I would guess. Say Eve over here. I think I had considered a play like that. I was thinking that closes off the top left a little bit too much for comeback potential, and also that I didn't like the synergy of the leaf. So it's sort of interesting that it comes out ahead. I almost wonder why. Like it's not intuitive to me that this comes out so far ahead of what I actually played. But maybe, yeah, let's take a look at that. Opponent average 34.8 on the next turn. It slightly lowers opponent chances when it comes to successive scores. Not by much, though. Like, I can see why it's only maybe a 1.7% difference. A little bit noisy. And yeah, over here, he was not actually keeping an eye, but he was still drawing into 4 eyes in a pool. So, sort of interesting that with 4 eyes unseen, he would still play this. Understanding, of course, that even a follow-up play with the eye on the right probably doesn't get me very far. So, Pandy, the sim didn't like that. NY up there, I guess, because I'm holding the A, for some reason with NY, I was only looking at the O behind it as the front hook, but we have the A. And NY would still set up a lane for the A with 1 A and 1 O unseen. And, you know, you'd only have a very trivial play potentially on the right side of it. So, yeah, I can see why this sets up for such a huge gain of win percentage. 12% versus about 6%, specifically because it's a good leave. The P remains open on the left, and it's an A setup on the top that is pretty far away from anything else. And so, total blind spot for A going in front of NY there, which we absolutely should have thought about. And here's where we have the triple eye draw that will, of course, be spent in that location. FU, much better here, despite the double N. Let's take a look at some of the percentages here. 22.5 for the bingo chance. So about a 4% gain in that. And that's the main thing making the difference here, by the looks of it. Also just lanes remaining open because that F and U there don't really get in the way of anything else. So large endgame mistake. Well, I mean, I was down on time at this point. I was just playing off anything, but I guess this is the actual out in 2 sequence. Follow it up over there. So yeah, I had lost at that point anyway, but that was the missed out in 2 that we were talking about. And I actually didn't even see this as being available. HELE. Would I have even seen that as just an anagram of, I guess? Because it's not one of the ones that would have come up as a 3 to 4 hook. I might have just missed it among 4s. Oh well. So yeah, that's it for that one. We'll see if there's anything else interesting to look at. Let's go back. So yeah, this was the one where, in spite of the fact that it was a head-to-hole game, I didn't really like how we played near the end, because we did lose a lot of steam and we're at risk of losing, so I did grab the sim for this one. And yeah, saying exchange is a medium mistake, and I should have just played off keeping ERSS. Yeah, I guess so, because we would have had self on the left. This was one of those meta things where I saw my opponent exchange and I exchanged in return, though, because I was thinking that if he's doing exchange too, he's got high probability draw. And indeed, if there were ELF on the board, I'm trying to see if there's anything that would have gone through the L, perhaps. I don't really see it. But obviously, I didn't quite know what I was dealing with there with the 2-tile fish. Insier, oh, I missed a better spot for it, really? Oh, yeah, Sora is good. I was thinking Sora. I backed off on Sora, in fact. Got to review the forests. They've been a bit of a problem. I keep thinking of 2 things when it comes to Sora. One is Kingdom Hearts. The other one is Masahiro Sakurai's development company, of course, his one-man directorial business. But Sora is in fact good, and I should have remembered that. Sometimes I have to double check mentally, like, where have I seen this word? Is there a reason I would have confused it with something in Scrabble? Anyway, the sim likes going here instead of for Weenseer up top, but very marginal difference. And then Glove is pretty good. This is where Aquifer is missed. Actually, not a huge swing in win percentage because of how strong the leave is here and how well the equity calculation turns out. FEHM, oh, I know this. I should have seen it. That was a bit of an unfortunate situation not to have seen that. Absolutely, I know that word. It's the M hook on FEH. And VEHM, I guess, was still available here as well and would have been much, much better. Although I couldn't really say no to the Tiz for 51. Miz is slightly better because then you keep the T for something on the right side, perhaps. I just had a bit of a blind spot for a Miz, in fact. Win percentage is about 1% off, but it does come out as much better. Yeah, this kind of kills the Z spot, that's the only thing, but the Z is so valuable that there were still decent possibilities. For example, if you draw one of the 5 O's coming into this spot, then you would have TROOZ over here. Something like that's still available. Passing on an X play over here, I see. Yeah, hard to see the rationale for that. Vermal. Oh yes, okay, relating to a worm. So yeah, here I did. So I didn't like my leave for this play, and indeed, it's a 5% mistake. This is not too vulnerable to any of the remaining tiles when it comes to the parallels next to the E. You'd have maybe a 30-ish point play with an H on the left, but we are holding an H, so that's not even a problem. That allows me to follow up. And I think we can probably see that reflected in a higher average score for me going into the next turn by about 10 points, in fact. 10 points better on average on the next turn on my end. Lower opponent average, too, because I'm not giving away the triple. Even though we have the blank kind of needlessly spent here. Oh yeah, I totally forgot about REIK. I should have seen it, but I wasn't holding the K, so I wasn't looking. Tom here when Vellum with the 1L, which is something that I've been kind of caught by before. Was in fact good. I think we were talking about Velleman earlier as well. Yeah, I just didn't see that spot with the E hook on RIN, which is, of course, Spencer. Vermal reminded you that I had Vorpal at some point in one of my games. I think I remember that it didn't go down. Like, we were thinking about the Vorpal sword, and I remember that coming up in commentary at some point, but I don't remember the context. Whether I missed it or if I was in a situation where it didn't play. Ogival. Of our like an ogive. It's kind of interesting. AITU, I mean, that's really the only play there. So yeah, this was where I thought Fish One is going to have a very, very high chance, but CLW turns out even better and still has like an 84% bingo percentage with the SIE blank, given how available the lanes are. So this one, while we have a 5% higher bingo percentage by only playing off the W, the point sacrifice is what makes the difference here. That 17 points is hard to pass up, and we're not actually in worse shape when it comes to hitting on the next turn within. Look at this. Like expected average 76 on the next turn. Yeah, Oxtail was available here. So this was where I was so far down on time that I didn't take a look closely enough at what we could have had from the M. I was starting to look at the MIS prefix and I just did not see misplace. I didn't have enough time to look at it, but this was the one we were closest to finding. We were very close to playing misplace. And I also forgot that mescaline also just drops to E because we were kind of thinking about that, and it was mentioned in chat afterwards as well. Yeah, we were talking about development in a game where it would have made J and I or something, if I recall. So yeah, this gave away the X spots. So not the right choice even if we were going for that location, but it was hard to say. And Dryly is going to fit. Opcode would have been nice. A bottle. 2 in a bag, but then that really blocks up the whole board, so works out. You'll notice that a bottle reduces the opponent bingo chance to 0. Otherwise, it's at about 5%. Almost certainly it would have to be something like a 9 to the AL or 9 through the OP, depending. It would be something difficult anyway, with a low probability draw. So this was considered a big mistake on my opponent's part, although that was the play that I saw. But I guess the bag is out at that point, and so there is a well-defined out in 2 that is available, particularly with the Japer spot, which we did see as a threat. So yeah, at this point I'm down on time, and so I didn't see sequence, but I do not have an out in 2 sequence by the looks of it. At least not one that would outdo the score that we would get off of Kited for 31 next to the ZE. And even so, this doesn't give me any out in 2 sequence, as we foresaw. So yeah, just a pretty big miss there. That could have really cost us, given that I was going to take the -10 penalty on time. But it looks like my opponent doesn't have a theoretical win at that point. But we were really close to blowing it. I was kind of wondering if, yeah, because rims would have been better by a 20-ish point margin. And that would not have gotten over the line, but that would have made it extremely close. By an extra 22 points of spread. Which, given the time penalty, actually might have won it. Let's walk through this, because let's say we're here. Because I have 2 seconds to pass on a play, and I almost certainly will take the 10-point penalty for doing that, right? So given that you got rims for 20 down here, and then you get the 4 from ET, you get 24 off of this play. I lose to this play if I don't pass within the 2 seconds. I think. No. We come out just ahead. 418 to 415. We win by 3. Yeah, we win by 3 if I account for time penalty. So yeah, bad ending for me there from poor time management. But that happens from time to time. Okay. I don't know if there was anything we wanted to look at in this one. We'll scroll through this quickly. So round 5 wasn't really that interesting. My opponent, I think, was not in a great position, but we'll see if we missed anything particularly good. Equity table likes using the S. I wouldn't do it. Oh yeah, holding the blank and would have had WAQFS for 62. So I was thinking, I was holding 3 S's. As long as my opponent doesn't have the S hook with a blank, I'm okay. But we made it out of that one. Joey over here. Oh, I played Joy's instead, didn't I? This does leave quite a lot better. Resajet. Stretching pretty far as well. I was thinking the S isn't that useful for me on the board. Look at it. Panmixis. Random mating within the breeding population, also panmixia and mixises and mixies. Good extension on mixes to know. If you have mixes on the board and you just put pan on it. Like if someone opens with mixes with the M here and then you just put pan on top. I gotta check lexicon for that for sure. Yeah, available in both. Pan mixes, pan mixis. Some other possibilities here. Tridented as an extension. That's interesting. Oh yeah, Curie is just a unit of measurement named for Marie Curie. But I liked the R for synergy with a C in case we were able to play off of it, I think. Tridented's still available, so, the table's still going to scream at us about that. Trivia, I saw after I made a different play. I was looking for a play like this, and I just had a blind spot for the T on the right, but it's actually very clearly best by equity, and so 3 L's available to put underneath for trivial, but I don't think we're worried about that at this margin of victory, given how much it gets my rack out of trouble. Anything interesting? That's my opponent's turn, Headland. Through here, if we wanted to play off an additional tile. Here I'm trying not to empty the bag, though, just in case of emergency, although I don't think there are bingos to worry about in the pool. Yeah, I was looking for something like that, actually, on my opponent's rack, but I knew the Q was going to go down as a priority anyway. And indeed, we had 1 out here. It's the only out. Pool. Oh, it's Poule, basically. Yeah, and all the filmy variants are over there. Okay, let's take a look at the last one. And then we'll be done for today. Okay, now, yeah, Dr. Cliche, pull it. If we had something like a chicken that acted like a bullet bill in the Yoshi game, we probably would have called it pull it. So yeah, a crawl. I was kind of wondering what my opponent would have kept out of a crawl instead of just playing crawl. A crawl is better in this position because of the A and the 2-point gain. But it does still come out ahead of crawl by itself. That's interesting. Very marginal difference, but a difference nevertheless. I did, in fact, find the best exchange for this, DF-HNQ keeping DN. That is, in fact, best. I was wondering about this turn, whether change 7 would have been better, but it comes out ahead by a little over 1%. And about 4 points of equity when it comes to change 5 versus 7. Glissade over here, and then Bind. Oh, look at this. Odometry. 158. That would have been spectacular, but luckily for me, I mean, it's a double blank, right? Like in a double blank situation, that seems especially hard to find. I guess maybe odometer would have been easier to find. Like that is not implausible with double blank, but again, designating both blanks as ease, right? That you can easily burn a ton of time just looking for anything at all to fit. And yeah, no place for provoker at this point. All we can do is try to score over the K. And yeah, Proa up here. Less preferred to just take in the corner. I guess keeping the CLV is really quite terrible at this point. I mean, everything kind of gives you negative equity and very low win percentage in the situation that we're in. My opponent trips over some eyes for a bit, but unwive. And I seen the spot there. I don't think KORE takes an S. It doesn't. Yes, it does, actually. Oh, I think that's a lexical difference. Because I specifically remember that at least in WoW or NWL, KORE doesn't take the S. It does here. So unwive is going to come out ahead a little bit. ZO on the left, obviously best. Beastie, missed a bigger spot for Beastie up here. Woo, look at this overlap. Crazy overlap on the left side with the extra 21 points. Very hard to see. I'm not surprised my opponent didn't look at that. Anyway, CUF over here. I guess that dangles the S for myself still. And it kind of makes the cross where the S is available on both this end and this end still. Which might not be the easiest thing to deal with. And yeah, this is obviously the play. This is also obviously the play in spite of what a terrible situation I'm in. Sub 5% win percentage at this point. This is one of those situations where the rating estimate that you see in the bottom corner thinks I'm better than I am because none of our plays moved the needle very much with the sub 5% win percentage. So this is not quite the optimal exchange. It likes dropping both H's, keeping NX. I guess keeping NX works better with the possible draws. I'm at this point still thinking about, doing something here with the next play, although it doesn't get me close enough. And iterated, retreated. Out of one. Obviously, this one opens up a bit more when it comes to the X's, but look at this. The win probability is 100% either way. Retreated gives a little less back in that my expected score is about 13 points down into it. Everybody's expected score is down relative to that because it's just less open with the available tiles. And so pre-endgame here, this is in fact considered optimal. I've got 0% win percentage at this point anyway, but if I'm going for spread, then that's better than anything I have on the right side. Yeah, the Enterprise NX-01, that's what we would be keeping that for. It's been a long road getting from there to here, but let's see. So large mistake because Jape was available. I was looking at Jape. I just couldn't see how I follow it because it's not an out and two regardless. But this does get me a little further because then, yeah, it's still not an out and two regardless. Oh, I see. Because it's seeing that my opponent would just play Vatu through it, which they actually missed. And then saw afterwards, which is interesting. TWP, I totally didn't see that spot. That's about a 5-point difference on that. So yeah, past a certain point, there wasn't much I could do. I was curious about whether the exchanges could have saved that if we had tweaked them a bit, but there was a point when we just kind of died to the bag in this one. And very luckily, we didn't get hit by a Dometry. Okay, that is it for today. So, game's not as tight as usual. Pretty big swings in both directions. Not really any close endings necessarily, but that's all right. Still had some interesting things to talk about. A couple of big misses to witness, as always. So that's it for the game today. For those who want to watch much more and indeed much better Scrabble, I think in a few short hours, that is when the Let's Play Scrabble channel is going to be up and running again with the last day of the 4th of July weekend tournament, where, again, it is an extremely deep field that is currently topped by our fellow Twitch streamer and creator of Infinite Words, Ancient Cosmographer. And yeah, lots of action going on there. If you want to see some actual high-level play, that's a lot better than what you're going to find on this channel. And that'll be up and running soon. On the other hand, on the Twitch side, we'll see if there's anywhere interesting to forward you folks to next. So thank you again for joining me. We will, of course, continue with the Rhythm Heaven Groove over the course of the next few days. We'll likely make a day for Donkey Kong as well, because I believe it is another Bonanza event week, and we still have a few things to do with the DK challenge that's running until September. So we'll have a Donkey Kong day in there somewhere amidst Rhythm Heaven, and at some point we've got Yoshi Chapter 11 and 12 to deal with, but that's probably going to hold off until we've done the Rhythm Heaven medal clearance. But glad we could make a little bit of time for words again today, and thank you so much for joining me and witnessing this along at any point of the stream. We'll send you somewhere else very shortly. Thanks for watching. Enjoy everything you may be doing this weekend. And as always, fare thee well.